The story of Sodom and Gomorrah is one of the most dramatic and sobering accounts in the Bible, found in Genesis 18-19. It is a narrative of sin, judgment, and God's righteous justice. Yet it also reveals His mercy toward the faithful, reminding us that God is patient but will not allow evil to go unpunished. For the next 2 hours, we will journey through the biblical details of Sodom and Gomorrah, exploring the history, archaeology, theology, and moral lessons that still speak to us today. Abraham's intercession before God destroyed the cities. We read in Genesis 18 that Abraham pleaded with God. He asked if God would spare the city if there were 50 righteous people, then 45, 40, 30, 20, and finally 10. This moving dialogue shows God's willingness to show mercy for the sake of the righteous. However, not even 10 righteous people could be found. This teaches us about both the power of intercession and the seriousness of widespread sin. The sin of Sodom and Gomorrah. The Bible describes the people of Sodom and Gomorrah as living in great wickedness. Genesis 13 verse 13 says, "Now the people of Sodom were wicked and were sinning greatly against the Lord." Ezekiel 16 verse 49 explains their sins: pride, gluttony, neglect of the poor, and arrogance. Jude 1 verse 7 further reveals their immorality and unnatural desires. Together, these passages give us a clear biblical picture of why judgment came, because the cities had abandoned righteousness and embraced sin. The visit of the angels. In Genesis 19, 2 angels visited Lot in Sodom. He welcomed them into his home, showing hospitality. But the men of the city surrounded Lot's house, demanding to abuse the visitors. This horrifying moment revealed the depth of corruption in Sodom. Lot pleaded with them, but their hearts were hardened. The angels struck the mob with blindness, showing God's power to protect His servants. This section of the story reveals the clash between righteousness and sin. The escape of Lot and his family. The angels urged Lot, his wife, and his daughters to flee. They warned them not to look back. Lot hesitated, but the angels grasped their hands and led them out of the city by God's mercy. This moment shows that even in judgment, God extends grace to save those willing to follow Him. Yet, tragedy struck when Lot's wife looked back and was turned into a pillar of salt. Her story serves as a warning. When God calls us out of sin, we must not cling to the past. The destruction of the cities. Genesis 19 verse 24-25 says, "Then the Lord rained down burning sulfur on Sodom and Gomorrah from the Lord out of the heavens. Thus He overthrew those cities and the entire plain, destroying all those living in the cities." This destruction was swift and total. Archaeologists and historians have debated possible sites of Sodom and Gomorrah, with evidence of cities near the Dead Sea showing signs of fire and sudden devastation. This section explores the connection between the biblical account and historical findings. Spiritual lessons and warnings. The story of Sodom and Gomorrah is more than history, it is a warning for all generations. Jesus Himself referred to it in Luke 17 verse 28-30, saying that just as it was in the days of Lot, so it will be when the Son of Man returns. The Apostle Peter in 2 Peter 2 verse 6-9 also used the story as a warning to the ungodly and as encouragement for the righteous. This story reminds us of God's justice, but also His mercy toward those who trust Him. It calls us to repentance, holiness, and faithful living in a corrupt world.